Philadelphia Eagles rookie quarterback Cole Payton came out there and had the play of the game for the Philadelphia Eagles squad. I've listened to a lot of comments. I've listened to a lot of people talk about this. I've definitely gotten some comments around the fact that, like, well, you know, this was garbage time. Guys, all the preseason is garbage time. What the hell are we talking about? Like, that sentence doesn't make any sense, guys. This is no different than, like, developmental reps, okay? I view this as nothing more than developmental reps in practice, and I don't call this necessarily garbage time because it doesn't make sense, because the dudes out there on the field don't give a crap what the scoreboard says. They give a crap about what the tape will say about them when it gets released to all the other teams, because anyone in this phase of the game is a long shot to make the roster, unless you're a quarterback. So let's talk for a second about Cole Payton, those kind of reps that he had there, what I saw on the tape. And I want to be honest for a few seconds about the level of development, because I do think there are some people who might be underselling the actual level of development the young man still needs, while at the same time acknowledging, oh, he's exciting, and he could definitely be useful as a gadget-type player. Like, he could actually have a very small, I'm talking about a minute role, to where he's kind of a gadget-esque player inside of the offense while he's developing behind the scenes as a quarterback. You know, this is a guy that we hope in time could be the main backup to Jalen Hurts. So with that said, Joe, I want to jump into a couple of plays first to just kind of show you, out of all the plays I've watched, these are two plays I haven't heard discussed as much. So I want to give them a little bit of weight, a little bit of credence to show you exactly what is on the tape here. So with further ado, let's go to this tape real fast. All right, guys, let's get into some X's and O's here. So what I want to do is I want to take you down and I want to show you the formation from the Eagles' perspective, guys. This is 12 personnel. And what you're going to get here is what we call reduced split. Reduced split meaning, you see where I have the quasi numbers put in here, guys? It means your wide receivers are inside the numbers, okay? Everything is condensed on the formation. And the Eagles are in like a 12 personnel kind of look, to where they're utilizing kind of a quasi double wing. You can make an argument of whether or not the tight end that's off to the left tackle is technically in a true winged alignment, but just for the sake of brevity here, I'm going to call it a double wing, guys. Quarterback is under center, and we're very clearly trying to sell a play action, okay? We're going to come out here and try to sell play action. What you're going to see in the reverse here is how the Ravens line it up. So the Ravens are going to line it up with a 5 technique, a nose tackle who looks like to me he's shaded, like a 0 shade. Okay, you have a 3 technique, you have an overhang here, you have an overhang here, so you got basically what would be the equivalent of like a 50 front. You got 2 stacked backers, 2 inside backers that are at about a 4-yard depth, guys, okay? And then you got your one side of your corners are out here at about a 6-yard depth. I know the drawing doesn't match what I'm saying, but it's 6 yards depth, guys. Your other corner is out here at about an 8-yard depth, okay? Then you got your free. Your free is at about a 12-yard depth. And then you got what we would call your creeper or your strong. And that creeper or your strong is about a 7-8 depth kind of coming into play here. You can see that they're essentially expecting there to be a run play on this one, right? But they're going to do a good job of recovering. This is the important part about, like, when you're playing football, about when you hit your drop back step, it's got to be really definitive in the NFL. And I got to tell you, man, this is what separates, you know, players in the league, because the decisions are in microseconds, guys. And there is a split second where if this ball is on a rope and the decision is made with a ridiculous level of timeliness, yes, this play would have probably worked. But ultimately, I just think that this is being run without the consideration of a lot of things, man. This is just being run as a basis to the offense, not necessarily situationally by what the play call would look like. And you get the resulting kind of results, if you will, for a lack of better words, of what occurred here on the screen. But nonetheless, man, this is a developing quarterback, and I want to go over to some more positive clips of what the young man did inside the offense. Now, from a route progression, just to kind of show you what the routes were real fast, guys. Okay, your wide receiver that's going to be towards your field side. So you can see here, guys, this is your boundary over here. This is the field, all right? So you have your wide receiver over here on the field. He's going to run kind of a seam, meaning he's going to basically stick to the hashes, guys. He's going to cut in towards the hashes, carry vertically, okay? This guy here is going to run what's probably more what we call a dig, which means he's going to kind of come up, right, about a probably 10, 12-yard depth, and then he's going to start digging almost into dig here, over out if it crosses over the center, okay? So that's what you're getting for these wide receiver progressions. Then you got a wing back here who's kicking out this way for protection. You got a wing back here who's going to set up and block, and then he's going to release to the flats. And then here off of play action, your halfback is going to then release into the flats. So you got a seam route flat, and then you got a dig flat over here. It's all about which side you choose, and to be honest with you, outside of maybe getting the ball out to the halfback and the flat out here, there was not a lot to work with here for the quarterback, if I'm just being honest here. All right, guys, in this formation, the Eagles are going to come out and what looks like really one personnel, guys, meaning no running backs on the field, one tight end, 4 receivers. Not something you generally see, right? They got a 3-by stack over here to the field side, the left side. So this is your field going off your left tackle. Outward, guys, is your field. And then your boundary is going to be toward the right side of your field, so going off your right tackle out this way. Empty back set, quarterbacks in the shotgun formation, guys. And just looking over the Baltimore Ravens defense before we get too much into this, guys. What you're going to get here is you have a player out here who's off of the left tackle, who I would probably call lined up in like a 4 or a 4-eye technique off of that left tackle. You got a shaded nose tackle off of the center here. And then out off the right tackle, you got like a 4-eye, 3 technique, 4-eye-ish. It's hard to tell from the angle, guys. And you got a wide 9 player outside of him. You got 2 stacked backers who were really wide to formation. So they know this is a pass, very obviously. Now, they could have hit him with a quarterback draw, to be honest with you. And it probably would have been very successful as, this play kind of results in that into a scramble drill, which basically serves as a quarterback draw. But you got a stack backer out this way. You have a stack backer out this way. Both of these guys are about 5-6 yards depth, okay? We have a cornerback out here to the boundary who's about a 5 to 6 yard depth off of the tight end. Then you got a cornerback out here on the field side who's also probably roughly, I'd say 7 to 8 yards depth off of this wide receiver. You have your nickel back who's about 5 to 6 yards in depth. And then this other outside stack backer is going to come across here. Your safeties are about 14, 15 yards deep, so these are a little deeper than the last formation I showed you. And back here, you got the pay dirt, guys. This is the end zone, all right? So as you watch this play out, what you're going to see here is the windows in which the NFL. It is a son of a gun to play in the NFL because the windows are not, to what most people think they are. Like, the areas to throw into here are very minute, and if you look at the receiver's progression, your outside receiver in the 3-by set is running a fade, so he's going to go outside the numbers and push into the end zone. Your basically what you would pretty much call your stack is kind of running what I would call some variation of a whip or a return. So in this situation, he starts like an out route, and he's going to come back across formation inward. And then over here, guys, you have what looks like almost a skinny post by your inside slot. So he's going to kind of come up here almost like a hook, kind of like he releases outward, then comes back in almost on like a skinny action. I just think he's trying to sell the play. I think he's trying to split that backer and that safety. Then on the opposite side here, guys, you have a quick, like kind of either an F stick or just an out route from your inside receiver. Your outside receiver, which is the tight end's running a fade as well outside of there. This is basic kind of spread, even air raid-ish type stuff that you're seeing here, guys. Basic of principles and concepts. Once again, it's not being run with any real reason or cause in mind. I would caution people to be careful about judging players based off of this when there's no scheme involved. All I will say is that I will give, Cole Payton credit because while Cole Payton has a long way to go in terms of the development, in terms of seeing things on the field, the young man can show you that he could be impactful for an offense as kind of like a little niched out role that he could have for you, right? A gadgety-esque player, and hopefully over time he can develop some of the nuance of reading the defenses because there is something to this young man, but I will say that he is very raw in terms of like being able to throw into NFL windows right now. All right, guys, that was Cole Payton. It's a young man that I definitely think could have a role in the Philadelphia Eagles. This is a young man that I still think does have a ton of growth to go. Like, he's not ready to throw into NFL windows yet. But I think it's going to be on the onus of the coaching staff to give this man a little bit of an encouragement, right? Give him a couple like little warm-up shots. You get what I'm saying, guys? Let him start feeling it a little bit. And then just see if he doesn't try to push the ball downfield because this guy kind of strikes me as having the cojones to try to push the ball downfield. And I'd actually love to see a guy like this in this system who just plays with reckless abandon as the backup quarterback. I mean, it'd be exciting, at least in the preseason. You know what I mean? Very minimal, we have excitement in terms of what this young man could do for us from like the preseason perspective of football games. All right, y'all, with that said, if you guys are looking for more information about the players we have on here, I promise you there's no one else on YouTube who's going into the depth of player that I'm going to. And yes, this one was more on the positive light of things with some critique and criticism of the play. But I also do very in-depth critiques. I don't always just, give guys out flowers here. Like, you got to come and earn praise inside my film room, to be quite honest. So with that said, guys, I'm going to throw you up some videos that I've covered of other players that are deeper on the depth chart that most of these guys are not going to cover for you. I got you back. I got them covered here. I'll throw you up one of the player evaluations here, and I'll throw you up another player evaluation over here, guys. With that said, man, I want to thank you all so much for liking, commenting, and subscribing on these videos. And for all y'all that are hitting the hype button, it means a lot, guys. I know you only get some of those per week. So if you're using those on the videos that I'm producing, man, it is greatly appreciated from me because you guys are out here trying to push the channel. You guys are doing a better job of it than me because I often forget to even ask for these things. And a lot of you get on my tail about it saying like, hey, Steve, if you don't ask, you don't get. Please don't forget that. I got y'all, man. I'm trying to do a better job at the end of the video selling this stuff. All right, y'all. Peace. I'm out of here.